Welcome to Upstart Footy Preview ahead of a big round 20. Yes, we've been on a 1 month hiatus. Yes, we've received all your fan mail, all your Facebook messages, all your tweets, and all your requests to MC wedding receptions. But we're back here in Latrobe Uni Studios doing some of our sharpest. I'm Ben Waterworth, and he's just gotten off the plane straight from Japan. He was over there filming their version of MasterChef. Apparently his prawn and avocado sushi rolls were pristine, but you'll have to actually watch Japanese TV to find out if he wins the whole thing. John Takemura, very good to see you, Foss.
Yeah, good to see you, mate. It's been quite a long time, 4 weeks.
Too long, in my opinion, Jay.
Very much so, and looking forward to round 20.
Yes.
And only a few weeks till the final series.
Ooh, get excited. Round 20 kicks off tonight at Etihad Stadium with St Kilda taking on Fremantle. True to their theme song, Jane Tack, St Kilda are marching into the top 8 at the moment. In fact, they've probably already cemented their spot in the top 8, whereas Fremantle, injuries continue to hurt their season, and unfortunately their form as well. And I think that St Kilda will keep on marching and win pretty easily tonight.
St Kilda 5 wins in a row. They're looking good for at least a top 6 finish.
Yeah.
Brendan Goddard, Nick Del Santo been in sensational form, but Zach Dawson out again and yet another suspension. Very disappointing. Nick Rewalt was suspended obviously last week, and a couple of weeks ago Justin Kazitsky. Freo's injury list is dire, and their record in Victoria is even worse, so I'm going for St Kilda.
Geelong hosting the Gold Coast Suns at Skilled Stadium on Saturday afternoon at 1:40. J-Tac. The AFL has brought this game forward so that unlike last week's game where it finished in darkness almost between Geelong and Melbourne, there's no doubts who's going to win this game. Geelong will thump the Suns. They'll put up a bit more of an effort than what Melbourne did. Carlton versus Melbourne, MCG, Saturday afternoon, big occasion. I'll let you go to town on the D's, J-Tac, because I know you've got some things to say about them, but I'll quickly want to mention how good the Blues are going at the moment. Sitting in 4th position, doing okay, got West Coast on their buttocks at the moment in 5th position, but I think Carlton won't have too many troubles despite the D's maybe being a little bit more motivated.
Get the binoculars.
Binoculars out.
Absolutely.
Tax attack time.
Melbourne Football Club have got to stand up this weekend. Now, when these two sides played early in the year, Dennis Armfield and Mitch Robinson from Carlton said Melbourne played bruise-free footy.
Yes.
Now, it can be argued that Melbourne played bruise-free footy last weekend in their embarrassing performance against Geelong. That cost the job of the coach. Gary Lyons coming in to run the football department, and he's going to clean the broom put the broom through the club.
Yes.
And if they've got anything in their soul, in their heart, in their brains, they've got to perform this weekend.
Will they win?
No.
Fair enough.
I think Carlton will win, even though they're a bit out of form, in my opinion.
Perhaps game of the round, in my personal opinion, is Essendon versus Sydney, Saturday night at Etihad Stadium. Bombers have had an interesting past fortnight, really good performances in the first half against Carlton and Collingwood, and flops, basically, in the second half. You know what you're going to get with Sydney. It's going to be a finals-like atmosphere, I reckon, on Saturday night. And I think the Swans might just show why they deserve to be in the top 8.
Yeah, I think Sydney will win this game and win it quite well. Essendon's injury list, as like Fremantle's, is pretty dire. They lost last week Travis Collier. That was a sickening injury. And also Prismal second knee reconstruction. And I think we might as well just call it a final 5 or final 6 right now.
Yeah.
Because quite clearly Fremantle, Essendon, Melbourne, none of those teams really even deserve to be in the top 8, but a couple of them are going to make it. So I think Sydney will win this one though.
Port Adelaide versus Collingwood, Amy Stadium, Saturday night, blockbuster game. Bottom versus top. Collingwood will win just.
That's putting it lightly. I think they'll win Collingwood by at least 10 goals. Alex Fasolo, 5 goals last week, liked his game. And also young Ben Sinclair in his first game played well. But Thomas and Didac coming back, they're going to make Collingwood even stronger, and they'll win by a long way against the worst team in the comp.
Brisbane hosting Adelaide, early game on Sunday afternoon. Two teams who have really struggled this season, but Adelaide under a new coach who looked a little rejuvenated against the Power last weekend. And I think even though it's away from home, should be too strong against the Lions.
Yeah, I think the Lions will win this game quite well.
Do you really? The Lions?
I do. I think Adelaide, they've been pretty ordinary all year away from home, and they've been in the news this week with another one of their stars going to GWS, Phil Davis and Kevin Sheedy. Yes, suck it up to all the all the other sides in the comp saying we're here to build a football club, and if you stand in our way, then bad luck, basically. And Nathan Bock, they lost last year, and the guy that they wanted to replace him for the next 10 years, they've lost him as well.
Phil Davis.
Scott Stevens is retired. Ben Rutten's getting towards his 30s, and Adelaide's defence is really struggling. I think Brisbane will win this game, and Adelaide have quite a number of problems.
North Melbourne's season is on the line on Sunday afternoon when they travel down to Tasmania to take on a very informed Hawthorn. Our new camera girl, Liana, is a mad North Melbourne supporter, but I don't think the relationship between her and I is going to get off to a good start here. I think Hawthorn's playing way too strong at the moment, and the Roos can almost kiss their finals aspirations goodbye.
North are another one of those teams who are fighting for a spot in the 8 and probably don't quite deserve to be there, but I think they'll give a good account of themselves against Hawthorn. Hawthorn coming back from Perth. Yep. They've got a lot of injuries, and I think I'm tipping an upset. I reckon North Melbourne can win in Tasmania. Liana will be happy with that. I reckon.
You're sucking up to the camera.
No, but seriously, I think they're a chance of beating Hawthorn. I think Hawthorn might underestimate them a bit. Yep. Jordan Lewis has come out and said we're super confident we can beat anyone. Maybe a bit of arrogance. Just ahead of the finals, and I think they might be a little bit off their game, and North might just sneak under their guard in what I believe, Benny, is game of the round. No doubt about it. North Melbourne, their season's on the line, and I think they'll win.
Final game of the round is another blockbuster, JTAC. West Coast hosting Richmond at Patterson Stadium on Sunday afternoon. West Coast, they're going to do some damage in the finals, I reckon, West Coast, while Richmond's season's just gone from worse to worse to worse since the middle of the season. West Coast will do this one very easily.
Yeah, West Coast will win this game quite well. I'm not sure about how many gears they can go up, Benny. I think they're probably playing at the level that they'll probably play in the finals. I don't think they can get much better. Dean Cox last week against my Dogs.
How good was he?
Oh, he was pretty good, wasn't he, with those two marks at the end of the game. And but it was a bit worrying. They gave up a 50-point lead and the Dogs came back, but they showed a bit of a fight and came back when was required, and I think they'll beat Richmond well.
Maybe a bit of a wake-up call that the Eagles needed. And, of course, the Dogs have the bye this weekend, so you won't be watching a game of footy at all that matters. Thank you for joining us on Upstart Footy Preview. Big special thank you to those watching us on bigfooty.com. We do appreciate you tuning in. It's good to be back, as they say. And we'll see you next week on Upstart Footy Preview, of course, on upstart.net.au, the magazine for emerging journalists.